did anything happen? I'm like, okay, let me just start from the beginning, and I will holographically relate to you the entire 6-hour shift in order. Because that's the only way I remember it. Is it's a linked list. I have to remember from bit to bit to bit.
The VOD.
Yeah, I mean I meant to only tell her that we did a story about a tiny algorithm, the littlest variable, and I just told her the whole story.
You made up the good algorithm?
No, I told her the story we made up.
Exactly this. All right.
You know what? I bet you if you asked her. She would.
No,
be
I'm
like,
challenging you.
You're challenging me to tell it again. Okay. Once upon a time, there was this little variable, this little statically typed variable, and he wanted to grow up to be something special, like a big algorithm. And his father said, "Well, you can do that. That's possible, but you have to get out into the world and do things first." And so the little statically typed variable left the. He's like, maybe you can be a function one day. You know, all those kind of things. It's like, oh, maybe I could be a function one day. He's like, that's interesting. But if once you become a function, you must return to the house. I think we mentioned something about that. Anyway, so he left and went to the Adventurers Guild and looked up on the wall, and he saw the pictures of the very heroic C Standard Library. All the members of the C Standard Library. He thought, one day I want to be on that wall. And the person signing up with the Adventurers Guild had said, you can, hey, you can do that. You just have to, work hard, and someday you'll make it onto that wall. And he walked outside the Adventurers Guild after having signed up. He dropped a static type. He became a global variable, so he could go out and see the world. And he ran into a very mysterious, somewhat untrustworthy wizard. And the wizard said, I could set all of this up so it could just operate, without you needing to think about doing anything. And the little variable was skeptical because he didn't know why he should try to achieve this on his own. But he felt like the wizard was very seductive, had pulled him over to that. He says, excellent. All you need to do is send him over.
I don't remember this.
There are many different forms of seduction. And he said, first, you must enter the caves of recursion. And this is the point where Corey went, oh no!
No!
He's sure to relate that to Heather as well.
Ah!
And so he entered the caves of recursion, and he walked through the caves as much for what felt like hours, and felt like the same cave over and over and over again, until he eventually walked into a giant cavern that was filled with crystals and light. It was very beautiful, and there, sitting on many thrones, were the N-1 queens. And they said, "You have reached the end of the caves of recursion. What is it that you seek?" He's like, I seek a means of becoming becoming an algorithm. Like, well, to become an algorithm, you must be more than just a simple variable. You must possess a powerful weapon. And it's like, what is that weapon? It's like, it's the linked list, and you must find the linked list. In order to do that, you must go seek the Towers of Hanoi. And so when he left the cave, he felt concerned because he'd spent so much time in the cave, and the wizard was still waiting out there. He's like, what did you learn? And he said, he's like, I was told I will have to do some more questing. And the wizard said, well, we will have time for that tomorrow. Let us retire back to the town and to the Standard Inn. And they went to the Standard Inn, and when the wizard was sleeping, the little variable realized that he didn't trust the wizard anymore. He needed to go out on his own because they need a way to dump that character from the story. And so he left the Standard Inn by moving through the Standard Out, and left the town and went to the Towers of Hanoi on his own. And when he got there, he saw that there was a beautiful princess way up in the tallest tower of Hanoi, and she had let her hair down. And he's like, I must have to save this princess, is what I have to do. And he couldn't reach her hair, and he said, hey, I can't reach your hair. Can we do anything about that? And she's like, no, it's okay. Look, how this works is you're going to have to pop me off the stack, so I end up on a smaller tower, and once that happens, then you'll be able to climb my hair. And he's like, how do I do that? And she explained it to him, the methodology, and he's like, okay, great. So he through some doings, he popped her off the stack to a smaller tower. He climbed the hair, and she introduced herself as Princess Fifo or Philo or Lifo or Lilo, we didn't quite decide on which one she was going to be, but she's on the stack, so technically Lifo would have been more appropriate, or Philo. But anyway, she said, I have the linked list, but in order to take it, you have to help me with one of my quests. He's like, oh, it's one of these things where I have to do multiple stuff in order to actually like gain the linked list. Fine, what do you need? She's like, you have to help me overthrow my mother Gigo, which people who don't understand what that means, that's G-I-G-O, that's garbage in, garbage out. So anyway, goes and seeks. I figured I left a lot of people behind who didn't know what that was, and so they go to the Princess Philo's castle, and there sat her evil mother Gigo on the heap, and she's like, I control this entire queendom, and the princess is like, no, I have a means to defeat you, mother. And the mother is like, no, foolish child, I will destroy you with whatever magic that we didn't really come up with for her, but she has some sort of magic.
She corrupts the heap.
That sounds great. She used her heap corruption powers to try to.
Yeah, she's got like a double pointer. You know,
that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Basically, to kind of distract the variable and lead him into confuse him and lead him into places he doesn't want to go. And the princess tries to break that up and says to the variable, it's like, no, here's the linked list. Here's what you need to defeat. And he's like, I don't know how to use this weapon. She's like, look, it's just like an array gun. You just point it, and as long as you remember how to use it, as long as your memory is empty, you will be able to keep operating that so much and just keep firing it until you forget how to use it. And he's like, all right. And so he fires the array gun, the linked list, at Mother Gigo, and after some time, she falls off the heap and she collapses off the heap, and she's just left in the heap. And the princess and the little variable rejoice, and the princess turns to the little variable. And I decided I didn't want to make it a love story, so all they did is they just handshake and acknowledge each other's existence, and kind of perfect the communication. And so the princess raises her ceremonial pipe, and she dubs him a full monad, not just a variable anymore, but now he's his own independent ability, and
maybe they have friend type now.
That's good. I like that. And so she gives him a task and says, you can now you have achieved more than you have ever thought. He's like, but I'm not an algorithm. She's like, no, but you are so much more than you were before. And maybe someday when somebody else decides to continue the story, they'll turn you into something else. And he's like, sure. You know what? Sometimes it's just good enough. And he goes and he stands in front of the castle to protect the princess and the rest of the queendom or princessdom or whatever this principality. Anyway, and he decides, and she says, if you have any trouble, it's fine. All you have to do is use this pipe to summon somebody else. You need to do one thing, and they'll have another job, and you can just basically use the pipe to ensure that they'll help you with whatever you're doing. But you don't have to worry about doing much more than what I've already assigned you to do. And he's like, good enough for me. The moral of the story is, don't fall asleep in computer science class.
Yes. Bravo.
Mm-hmm. I did that in less time, but not that much less time.
Notes. Let's see. I think the wizard's name should be WYSIWYG.
Yeah, okay.
I just like that when Heather asks you what you did today.
Yes.
You're going to have to say
the same story.
Yeah, but I think, okay, with the princess thing, what if there's two princesses and one of them has the wrong directions because they're FIFO?
Oh.
But you have to determine which one's FIFO, or the algorithm has to use logic and deduction or reasoning skills to figure out how to pop the stack by following the directions of the correct princess.
So the little variable, in order to prove that he could become an algorithm, has to employ logic to pick the correct princess.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
The other great thing, something the chat was saying, that according to the VST, the original telling was just over 13 minutes long. This telling was around 7 minutes. So you're already well on the way to the do the story again half the length.
Yeah, and per the improv game, yes, I have to do it in 3.5 minutes.
And then 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, any percent.
I couldn't figure out a way to work in standard error, but if we can, that would be really good. Yeah. I mean, it could be that the wizard tried to chase the little variable out of the standard in, but he got redirected to the standard error instead.
And I like maybe like with the queens of N-1, or the witches of N-1, whatever, the hags. I don't know.
I like hags. That's pretty good too.
The hags, okay, but what if they show because they're part of our recursion thing? What if they show like a fractal, like a Mandelbrot set, and that vision is what finally makes things click for our protagonist?
Okay, yeah, I like that too. Yeah.
Also, I think you forgot that his dad is a const.
Right.
Yeah.
I did forget
Constable Dad.
Or just Const Dad for short.